Hello. I'm gonna cut to the chase. This video. Sorry about the hand actions. Like a retarded dinosaur. But yeah. This video is gonna be about my experience in an adolescent, teenager, whatever you want to call it, psychiatric ward. And how I feel about it. How I ended up in the psychiatric hospital. It's quite a personal story, but I'm not really bothered about telling people. I've got manic depression, and I've tried to kill myself 3 times, and the last time, which resulted in me ending up in a psychiatric hospital, was trying to hang myself. And yeah, basically I went to the hospital the day after, and my psychiatrist, she said I could either go to this day centre place called Hope, which I go to now, which is for people who can't really cope with school and who have troubles at home and stuff, or I could go to the psychiatric hospital, and then if I wanted I could go to Hope after. And at the time I felt like I was in a pretty bad place, and I didn't feel safe being kind of left alone and being at home. And so I chose for my best interest and for the people around me that care for me's interest, I chose to go to the psychiatric ward, which, yeah. So basically, when I'm gonna explain what happens, you get referred from the hospital that you're in, and you get transported to the psychiatric ward, and you can't take anything like razors, nail varnish, hairspray, spray deodorant, perfume, mirrors, anything like that, like with glass, or like aerosols and stuff and solvents, you get taken away from you, and you can only use them with supervision from a nurse. When you go in, they scan your whole body with a metal detector and check out, like, make sure it's underwire in your bra or it's a button, and they search you and stuff. They go through your belongings and write down each belonging that you have, just in case anything gets lost, I think. They check through all your makeup, they look in your face wipes in case you've had anything you could harm yourself with, and they scan everything with a metal detector before they put it back in your bag. And I didn't know about this when I first went in, and I have a really bad addiction, which I never recommend for anyone, but at the time as well, I was in the phase of self-harming. And I thought that if I cut a little hole in my teddy bear and put a blade in, wrapped in tissue, that they wouldn't find it. But I didn't know they had metal detectors, so they found it, and that was written on my record, which wasn't a great start. But yeah, that's what happens when you first go in. You're not allowed anything with a camera on. So my BlackBerry, because it's got a camera on it, I wasn't allowed it, but what they did allow me is to take my SIM card out, and they give you a tiny little brick phone, like a Nokia, and you can just contact people through there. Not allowed, yeah, practically anything that has internet or cameras on. It's just for other people's safety, and so, and their privacy. That's what they told me. Yeah, that's basically it when you first go in. And the room, it wasn't like most people would imagine. It wasn't what I imagined either. typical films in the psychiatric ward is a girl rocking back and forward, surrounded by 4 white walls with a white bed and padded cells. That is only in really extreme cases. It was, because it's an adolescent ward, it's a bit more relaxed and a bit more comfortable. My room was painted like a lilac colour. You have a wardrobe with a few drawers in to put your clothes in. You don't get any mirrors or anything, because obviously you could harm yourself with glass. But yeah, they just give you all you've got in the room is a bed, a wardrobe, a little kind of desk thing to put your bits in, and a little, well, I had a little radiator because my room was freezing. Yeah, that's the rooms. They have like meeting rooms, therapy room, sensory light room, which is quite nice, educating therapy, like art therapy kind of rooms, and girls and boys are separated into different corridors and stuff. What else can I talk about? Schedules. They're really strict in psychiatric wards. When I went in, I thought it would have been a bit more relaxed than it was, but every morning, I can't remember what time, I think it was about 8 o'clock, the nurses come around and wake you up, and if you don't get up, they'll literally like drag the duvet off of you, and they won't give you your phone, which is, you have to get locked away at night. And they didn't give me my phone because I didn't get out of bed and have breakfast, which is, I thought was quite stupid because I needed to talk to my mum. But you know, yeah, they wake you up. You have to be down there in like 10 minutes for breakfast. You have to sit around the table and eat. And if you don't eat, they write it down. And yeah, and every night I think we had to be in bed by 9. And on weekends we were allowed to bed at 10. What else? You had certain, like, a timetable for each day. You'd have like education, like once or twice a day. You'd have like art, and you'd have meeting. You'd have activity, insight, and yeah. The visiting times and stuff, they vary for each person, and out visits, like staying out and stuff, they also vary for each person's case, depending on how bad or whatever they are. When I first went in, I think it was level 1 you start off at, and that basically means you have someone with you at all times, and you basically get followed around, which is kind of creepy. Level 2, which I went on the second day because I behaved myself, basically you kind of 15 minutes everyone checks on you and the nurse checks on you, and then you can do whatever you want. And level 3 is basically you can do whatever you want. One thing I really hated and still constantly gives me nightmares from the ward, I don't know why, it's a bit weird, but most of the doors the nurses had keys for them, and I constantly have nightmares with the keys jangling because I just hated it. The food there was shit. The support there was shit. Just try not to end up in the psychiatric ward, really. It's not fun. I'm a bit better now, which is good. And yeah, that was just me explaining a bit about adolescent wards. If anyone wanted to know, because when I first knew I was going there, I kind of wanted to know a bit more about it. So hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, then thumbs up. If it hasn't, yeah, thank you for listening.